الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعاني فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون صدق الله العظيم. It is the month of Sha'ban that has already started. It is going on. We are in the year 2020 or 2020. Something quite amazing has happened throughout the world. We're seeing the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lifetime. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has frozen humanity and stopped humanity from their normal life. And not in one city or county or state or even one country, but throughout the world. We're facing a global pandemic because of the number of human beings in the world today. This is something quite extraordinary that is happening throughout the world. But one thing is very clear for us human beings, and particularly for us Muslims, is that the reality of this dunya, the reality of this world, is that nothing in this world lasts forever. The nature of this dunya, the nature of this world is that everything that happens, it will pass. Whether it is something good or it is something bad. That is the reality of this dunya, the reality of this world. Human beings come and go, animals come and go. The weather continuously changes. Conditions, they change. This is the nature of this dunya, the nature of this world is that one reality about this dunya, amongst the many realities of this world, is that nothing stays forever. The dunya is a changing phenomena. This world is a changing phenomena. So the condition that we're facing today, this pandemic, this too will pass. Yes, it has its own time. It has its own fixed plan that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in place. As believers, we have something even more extraordinary that is happening to us. Before we even get into something that extraordinary, we have already been facing quite some extraordinary conditions in our lives as the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Before we even get into other topics and subjects, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a Nabi in the past, Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam. His story is quite extraordinary and quite amazing. As we know that in the Quran, there is nothing that is just there for show or for no reason. Everything has a very, very great purpose in the Quran. It is a means of hidayah. Great lessons that we can learn from the ayat of the Quran. The qissa and story of Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with immense wealth. With that wealth he had amassed, he had also bought and had a very, very large amount of land and property. He had a lot of animals. He used to also help the weak and the poor. And with all this wealth also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with children also. And many, many children. And in all of this, Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he was very, very grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started testing him. And he was enjoying this very good life for a very long time. Now he was getting to an old age, towards the older portion of his life. It so happened that in one night a storm came, wiped out all of his animals, destroyed his fields, destroyed his property. And when this happened, Shaitan came to Ayyub alayhi salam and said that, you see, what has happened to you? You're a righteous person. Look at all this destruction that has happened. How can this happen to a good person like you? Shaitan was trying to plant the seed of doubt. Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he made a very simple comment. He said, well, that Rabb and that Malik that gave it to me, that Lord and that King that gave me all of this, he took it away. This is his in reality. He's the real sole owner. And I'm grateful that I was given a chance to have it for some time, alhamdulillah. And I don't know what the wisdom behind this, all this being taken from me. I don't know what the wisdom is, but I'm grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He became even more grateful. Then it so happened that his children were at home, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought about some conditions that all his children died in that house. There was a fire or the house collapsed on them. But he lost all his children. Even losing one child, people go through great difficulty emotionally. Again, Shaitan came to Ayyub alayhi salam and he said, you see, how can this happen to a good person like you? Ayyub alayhi salam, he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we belong, and to him we will return. He gave me this gift of these many children and he took them from me. And he has every right to take them. And Ayyub alayhi salam expressed his gratitude. He said, I'm being tested and this is fine. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested Ayyub alayhi salam in his body. Ayyub alayhi salam. Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he became sick. And that sickness was such that it affected his whole body. A kind of leprosy type of sickness. All of his friends that knew him, they left him. Some of his followers that were listening to him and had followed him, they also left him. They said that, it seems like you are being abandoned. But Ayyub alayhi salam, he was very grateful even in these conditions. His wife continued to take care of him. She was also facing these difficulties with him. She started taking care of him. A time came and a point came where Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, in weakness, he could hardly move around. He was bedridden and stuck in bed now. But that kind of sickness, that sickness lasted for a very long time. It was not weeks or months, but for many, many years, Ayyub alayhi salam was being tested with this sickness. During all of this, his wife, the wife of Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, she never really said anything. She just continued to take care of him. And Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam used to spend his time in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was his patience, that was his solace. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the ayat of the Quran, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ, that definitely the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it brings itminan to the hearts, it calms down the hearts, it gives solace and tranquility to this human being. A point came after many, many years. Shaitan came to the wife of Ayyub alayhi salam. Since he could not, he attempted to get to Ayyub alayhi salam, but it wasn't working. So Shaitan took another route, came to the wife of Ayyub alayhi salam after these many years, and told the wife of Ayyub alayhi salam that, why is your husband going through all of this? Why doesn't he just make one dua? He's a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The dua of Anbiya alayhim salam is accepted. Why doesn't he just make one dua and get rid of all of these difficulties? Why he has to go put himself through all this? He's suffering, you're also suffering. Haven't you gone through enough? The wife of Ayyub alayhi salam, this thought came to her. She said, yeah, you're right. So she came to Ayyub alayhi salam. She said that, why don't you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove this difficulty from you? So Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he asked his wife, he said, for how long in our life did we enjoy happiness, wealth, prosperity, children, lands, animals, respect, dignity? For how long? How many years? His wife said around 70 years. 70 or 80 years we enjoyed so much. And that was really a kind of life of paradise almost, happiness. Then Ayyub alayhi salam asked her that, for how long have we been going through this difficulty? Where our lands were gone, children were gone. Even the people left us, the sickness came, these difficulties. For how long have we been going through this? So the wife of Ayyub alayhi salam, she said maybe 6-7 years. So Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he looked at his wife and he said, isn't it shameful, and I feel ashamed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed me to enjoy a whole life of prosperity and honor and respect, and not even 1/10 of that time have I been tested and I'm ready to give up. I'm ready to make dua. I feel even shy and ashamed to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to even remove this difficulty. Don't you feel ashamed? His wife, she thought, he said, yeah, you're right. Then Ayyub alayhi salam, because he saw that this was a sign of ungratefulness in human nature, became a little bit angry, and he said, you're becoming ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's okay, you can go if you feel that this is difficult for you. Then you also go. Leave me to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because of your ungratefulness, in that fit of anger, people say many things. He said, I'll even lash you 100 times. That you're this ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after enjoying so many of His favors. Told the wife, you can also go. If you feel that it is difficult to take care of me, I can take care of myself. His wife also left. Now Ayyub alayhi salam, he was by himself in that difficult situation. And Ayyub alayhi salam, he was still sabir. He was very, very patient. But that disease, that sickness, it came to his tongue. His tongue started, he was not able to do the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when this condition overwhelmed him, that now he will not be able to take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or even just the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it also has its own sweetness for those who have iman. Even taking His name, taking the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, it has its own sweetness. Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, when the disease got to his tongue, and then he looked up to the heavens, he said, Oh Allah, oh Allah, You blessed me with wealth and You took it from me. And I'm fine with that. This is Your mulk and Your kingdom. I'm happy. I did not complain. Oh Allah, You blessed me with children. And then You took them from me. But oh Allah, never have I complained to You. And You know. And all that difficulty and losing all my children, I never complained to You, oh Allah. I never said anything. Rather, I was grateful to You. Then, oh Allah, You tested me with this disease, with this sickness. And oh Allah, for this prolonged time, I've never ever complained to You, oh Allah. I never once even showed any kind of ungratitude or kufr. I've been calm and I've been doing Your dhikr. But oh Allah, now are You going to test me, that You're going to take away the ability of me being able to do Your dhikr? Then I will not be able to take Your name. Oh Allah, this is real difficulty. That if You're going to test me like this, then oh Allah, don't test me with this. That You take away the ability to even remember You using my tongue, then oh Allah, this is real distress. And at that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned the dua of Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam in two places. In the Quran, in Surah Al-Anbiya, and in Surah Al-Saffat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the dua that Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam made at that time. And his dua was, Rabbi anni massani ad-dur wa anta arhamur rahimin. That, oh Allah, now, oh my Rabb, I've been touched with distress. That what can be more stressful and more distressing than me not even being able to do Your dhikr, oh Allah. I've been really touched by distress. Anta arhamur rahimin. And oh Allah, You are the most merciful of those who show mercy. The other ayah, Surah Safat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He made the other dua, Rabbi anni massani ash-shaytanu binusbin wa adhab. I've been touched by shaitan. One of the things that causes harm. Shaitan is not just Iblis. There are many things that are also known as shaitan, those things that cause harm. Those things that go about destroying a person. So he made this dua that Allah, I've been also touched by shaitan, some of his portions and his punishments, these kind of diseases and sicknesses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ فَكَشَفْنَا مَا بِهِ مِنْ ضُرٍ. Then we immediately accepted his dua and we removed from him that difficulty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the ayat of Surah As-Saffat that we told him and we commanded him, Urkud birijlik, hada muqtasarun baridun wa sharab, that you hit the ground with your foot and a spring sprung out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, this cold water, take a shower and also drink this cold water. Fresh, beautiful cold water. Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he took a ghusl with that, he washed himself with that. He also drank from the water, and wherever that water was touching, his body was healing. And immediately in that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured him. That spring is still there. That water spring is still there in Turkey, country, Turkey. It is still there. Bi'r Ayyub, the spring of Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, or Nahri Ayyub, is also has quite a few different names, but you can find it there. And Ayyub alayhi salam, when he took a shower with it, he cleaned himself, became completely healthy. All his health came back. Again, physical structure and strength, completely healthy person. And even more than what he was before. And he was also known for his handsomeness. He was also a strong, handsome man. So all that strength, everything came back. And this all within that moment. The next morning, Ayyub alayhi salam, he stepped outside his house, just enjoying the sunlight and enjoying the time outside. And his wife just passed right by him without even noticing that was him. It was a woman of great haya and modesty. She went inside the house. And she came back to come and take care of him to make sure he was okay. She went inside the house. She didn't find anyone. So she came outside, and with great haya, keeping her gaze down, she said, she was addressing him, that, Mr. Sir, do you know the old man that was living here, staying here? Do you know where he is? Where is he? Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he looked at her, he said, you didn't even look at me, you didn't recognize me. And she looked up, she was shocked. She said, what happened? Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, he said, you know, I was ready to take everything. But when that disease got to my tongue and I could not do the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so then this was real distress. So I made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He accepted my dua. But there are a few great lessons in this story. One of the great lessons is that whatever difficulty befalls a believer, as long as their iman is intact and they understand that this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they will continue to get rewards and ajr so long as they're patient and have sabr. So that is the quality of iman. That's one great lesson that we take from this story. As Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, for many years he was tested. Another lesson we learned from this story is that in times of difficulty, we should increase doing the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And increase whatever ibadah we can do. Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, in his sickness, he didn't have the strength to do other ibadah. But at least the ibadah he could do was the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he increased that dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is also a great lesson for a believer, that in times of difficulty, increase your ibadah as much as you can. In these times, along with having sabr, we should spend our time in ibadah. Assign and allocate time in your day to the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next lesson is that when that tawfiq and ability of even the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was being taken from Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, then that is when he made real dua. That is when he said, oh Allah, I can handle many things, but this tawfiq of not even being able to do your ibadah, then this is too much. So there's a lesson for us believers that when time comes where we feel that even our iman might be in danger, our ibadah is taken away, and that is real distress. And we are living in strange times. The Masjid, we know, are closed. Even the Jumu'ah in the Masjid is closed because of these difficult situations and conditions. And this is real difficulty. For a believer, this is true difficulty, that they're not able to go to the Masjid. They're not able to do the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Masjid, in the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we still have great opportunities to do ibadah at home. This is a time where we can connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one-to-one, on one-to-one basis. The month of Ramadan is coming. And this will be a real test for us. And the test will be that throughout our lives, we used to go to the masjid and pray the Taraweeh and get the barakah of the Quran as much as we could. We used to listen to the Quran. We used to try and pray our salawat in the masajid, do other ibadat and righteous deeds. But many of it, we took it for granted. And we felt that that was enough for us, that someone else was doing the khatam, the father doing the khatam, the tarawih was going on, so that was enough for us. But now, it is a test for us. And now we'll be at home. And the month of the Quran, the month of Ramadan, the time where we can actually connect with the Quran on a personal level. So we really won't be able to do anything else. We won't be able to even leave our homes because of whatever conditions are going on. Very limited time we can spend outside. So with that time that we have at home, after our work and our jobs and businesses, whatever, how much time will we spend in the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That'll be a real testament. And this is the time that now we correct our intentions. We prepare ourselves. We know that the month of Sha'ban is the month for preparation. So if we were in the habit of reading the whole Quran at least one time in the month of Ramadan, then this month of Ramadan that is coming, we should make our intention that inshallah I'm going to read it 2 times. Because we have time. That excuse of, oh, I don't have time, that's out, right? We really, that excuse is gone. We have time. If we were reading the Quran 2 times a month of Ramadan, this Ramadan we should try to do it 4 times. Just double it. Try. Because if we can find the time to read the Quran like this, then we have time. For those of us who are not able to read the Quran, maybe in our lives, whatever conditions we're going through, this is the month of Ramadan, this coming Ramadan. We should make that intention that inshaAllah, I will try my best to read as much of the Quran as I can, and if I can, I will try to read the whole Quran. Because the Quran is the greatest dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The greatest form of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is this Quran. Then we have the other adhkar, the afdal dhikr is then la ilaha illallah. But this Quran, this is the dhikr, the greatest remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should spend in times of difficulty, we should increase our tilawat of the Quran, increase our ibadah, and especially this Ramadan. If in our lives we have not been praying Taraweeh, then we should start praying our Taraweeh. And if we were praying Taraweeh, then we should try our best to be for a minute at home. Because many of us have gotten in the habit of doing Taraweeh in the Masjid. We have not ever faced a situation where we have to pray Taraweeh at home. And sometimes we become lazy, even praying Isha Salah. Sometimes become difficult at home. But being able to stick to that schedule, to pray on time, to do the Taraweeh, as much of it as we can. Whatever numbers, get out of these debates of 8 rak'ah and 20 rak'ah and 30. Whatever one. Even 2 rak'ah is good. If you're not even doing 2 rak'ah, start doing 2 rak'ah. If you're doing 4 rak'ah, try to do the 8 rak'ah. Do as much as you can. If we're doing the 20 rak'ah and we have this blessing, then this month of Ramadan will be the test that will we do that at home also, or are we only doing it in the Masjid? Then when there's people doing it in the Masjid, so then we'll join that. Otherwise, we don't really pray. So this month of Ramadan, this is a real test for us. I saw a very unique quote today. Somebody sent me that. It's amazing how much we, what kind of face we had outside. The only reason we're so frustrated sitting at home is because now we have to face the person in the mirror. Which is kind of an amazing quote, right? Because outside in the world and social life, it's very easy to become someone else. But when you're facing yourself in the mirror, now you're at home all the time. So this is a real testament to tell us who we really are. So let us make this effort and this niyyah, inshallah, that this Ramadan that is coming, we will spend this time in real ibadah and in real sincerity. And we should try to take advantage of this time that we have in solitude. Spend this time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us understanding and give us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.